There is no greater threat to our collective well-being than climate change. I can't make that point more strongly. Climate change is the greatest challenge of our time. Nothing else compares to it. And yet, this government is pursuing a plan that violates their own law, which they said was necessary as a moral obligation to address climate change. In a previous term, under a different premier, the governing party was willing to face the challenge of climate change. In 2007, the BC Liberals passed the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Target Act. Newsflash, this one's still on the books. It requires BC to reduce GHG emissions by 33% in 2020. The climate change crisis has only become greater and more obvious since that time, and therefore one would expect the members opposite to exploit our natural gas reserves in an environmentally responsible way. The opposition has been very clear that protecting the environment should be a precondition for LNG development. According to one of Canada's top energy experts, David Hughes, fueling 5 large LNG plants in BC would require over 50,000 fracking wells in the next 3 decades. Where are the studies by the government showing us that this is a safe direction to take? On this side of the House, we believe our air, water, and land must be protected. And to this government's great and historic shame, this is not being done. Do the members opposite not believe in climate change? I know there's a few that doubt it. While the BC government chases an LNG plan that betrays our moral obligation to address climate change, the acceleration of planetary warming is increasing. Do you realize that the very room we sit in now in the BC legislature will be submerged if we do not change our ways? A recent report by the authoritative National Academy of Sciences concluded that there is a dramatic increase in the rate of melting ice in the Arctic Ocean and in the Antarctica, an increase that suggests ocean levels may rise around the world by 4 meters. Can you picture that? This very building we are in today could be underwater in the not-too-distant future. The possible negative consequences of climate change for the people of BC are very terrible to comprehend. You know, there's some that say if it plays out the way that some predictions are saying, that we are facing risks of mass extinction and possibly another ice age. This isn't alarmism. This isn't alarmism. This is a warning from the cautious and authoritative U.S. National Research Council. The authors of this report are clear that the only way to head off dangerous warming is by reducing emissions of greenhouse gases, such as methane. And this is the very gas that the BC government wants to extract and sell as quickly as possible. There is a role for LNG in BC if it meets the conditions brought forward by the Leader of the Opposition. Our abundant natural gas is of great value to British Columbians, but the BC Liberals have lost perspective in their rush to try and cash in on the high prices for LNG in Asia, prices which of course are plummeting rapidly. All over BC and indeed around the world, more and more people are coming to terms with the threat that we'll be facing together, but sadly, not those who hold the balance of power in this province, and that needs to change.